impact of immersive environments. So I guess, we talk about, sometimes we talk about these immersive environments and the decor and the themes and everything. And I guess that I know some Sunday schools don't do themes really strong. And so I advocate for it, and every Sunday school is different, and that's fine. It should be different.
Right.
But I guess maybe sometimes it's almost like I'm defending it or something, this is why we do it. And so I do think, we talk about on this podcast, of course you guys haven't been on it before, but we've talked about often about how our script, everything in the script points to the altar.
Right.
And of course I talk about that in practice, right?
Yeah.
And so everything in the script points to the altar. Well, even our decor, in a way, it still is pointing to the altar, because our ultimate goal is we're trying to engage these kids. And we are, especially our church kids that come every week, and we have some kids that come on the bus that come every week as well. But we're trying to disciple them. And so as far as the quote-unquote learning, like we talked about in the earlier study or whatever, they are engaged, so they're going to remember better.
Yeah, because if you can create an environment where they want to learn, that they're comfortable in, we're gonna catch their attention a lot easier.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, instead of the cliche of a boring class or
right
something,
exactly.
We're gonna sit down and listen to somebody talk or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we don't do much sit down and talk. I mean, we have a lesson. Our lesson part is the closest to that,
right? Yeah.
And even that, sometimes I want to do more object lessons. I know I've said that before, and we've done some, but that's probably the closest we get, and that's really short.
Yeah.
And our segments are short, but anyway, so yeah, we. The other thing, I wrote a note here, the more immersive the environment is, it activates different parts of the brain. Mm-hmm. So we're not getting into a psychological study here or anything. But the thing is when the kids walk in, and this is the difference of that screen idea, if it would be super cool. I hope one day that we could have something like that. But we have tunnels the kids could go into, or doors they go through, or climbing walls and
rock walls,
yeah.
Caves.
Yeah, and so that's interactive. And some kids are scared to death of it. They don't want to go. I remember my younger son, Ashton, he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go down the big slide for a long time when he was younger. He just did not want to go down it, even though he was here helping me build it. He was just scared,
Mm-hmm. We have had some pretty tall slides.
Yes,
and they're fast. They're very fast.
Yes, very fast.
A few wipeouts.
Yeah. Hey, I remember it wasn't. So the first slide we built, I think it was the first slide I built. It was 2012. But I remember not too long ago. I don't remember what theme it was. Remember the playground that was really colorful. Mm-hmm. It was bright green and all that.
That was the first one you built, I think, right?
No. That was just a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. The first one I built was back in 2012. It was right here in the middle of the room. It was an army theme, and that slide, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no landing or anything. But no, the one that was really colorful and everything. Man, I cannot remember what theme that was. But anyway. Josh went down it because he helps build, and sometimes he's on Sunday school. He went down it, and he had these. I mean, it's fast anyway, but he had on some kind of warm ups that were really slick. Mm-hmm. And we had just put the metal down, so there was no nothing. It wasn't dirty. It was slick, And he went down and he bounced like Tigger. He bounced twice on his bottom on the floor.
Man.
Oh man,
he did get hurt, but it was whoa. So yeah, that was pretty epic. But anyway, so when you have all of these things, I remember when we did the pirate theme one time, and a kid stepped in the water, and they got their feet wet, in the water, in the little. It wasn't really a river like the other one, but it was. We had the water right beside the boat in the bottom, the bottom of the boat. The first pirate theme up here, and so you have all these senses, that are happening, and we haven't really done smell.
No.
I would like to.
That would be cool.
I would like to do that. Like, imagine that sea air, that salty sea air. And so, what was it? Disneyland, I think, or something. But I was reading I want to look into this. They have aromatizers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so to totally immerse you in that would be really cool.
That would be.
Yeah.
That'd be taking it to the next level for sure.
Yes, yeah, we got to do that, man. We got to try that. But we have the site, I say we don't have anything down. We can always do better. But that's one of the things we focus on is the site. Mm-hmm. And when we're building a theme, a lot of times I'll get on my knees, and look and
to see from their perspective.
Yeah, what is the first impression? What are the kids gonna see? Like, we have this Coliseum right here. Can't see it in the cameras, but I kind of did that. I kind of already knew what I wanted to do, but I kind of did that. I went over to the door, and I looked, and I was like, I want this thing to be as tall as it can. So it's about 15 feet tall, and so for a kid,
that's
it already looks pretty tall.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, and then of course I got the broken down part just because it looks cool. All the pictures are like that. So
yeah,
but so we have the site and then the sound. We do soundtracks 100% of the time, pretty much.
Yeah,
and so that sets the tone. Kids walk into our dynamic opening or whatever, and there's music going that fits with, when we did the pirate theme, we had a lot of really cool tracks that were like that whole kind of what is that called? It's like a it's Irish, but it's like I can't think of the name of it, but it's got that certain rhythm to it, like kind of a swashbuckling, little rhythm to it. And so and then I don't know, we did a news theme, and even with that we had we tried to get a lot of news sounding tracks, like dun, dun, dun.
And the typewriter click and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and the ching, the cash register for offering and stuff. Yeah, that was cool. So I think it makes a difference when the other thing is, I've mentioned this too, is when kids can, there's a term I've used before. I read this somewhere. It's a theater term, but where the audience can suspend disbelief. And so the term comes from you might have some kind of outrageous, the action hero flies, I don't know, whatever, or he takes on 10, assailants, and it's not real, but and that's the whole thing about not breaking the fourth wall, where you don't acknowledge the audience and you're fully in character and you're fully, which we'll talk about that a little bit, but where you're fully into it, the audience can suspend their disbelief for that hour or so and engage and be fully immersed. It's not like it's not like they're thinking, oh, this is so real, but they just kind of take a break from thinking about it logically, that this isn't real.
Yeah.
And so if we could get kids, where they walk in, how I did the opening, if they're walking into the ancient streets of Rome, with their Colosseum, and they're thinking this is so amazing or whatever. And even ongoing, the kids do get used to it, but still, if every time they walk in, and that's why we do dynamic opening, if they walk into some kind of action happening, and they're like, oh, what's happening today?
It engages them.
Yeah,
Yes.
it just draws them in, and kind of like a hook.
Yeah, exactly like a hook, yes. My son, my 7-year-old, it's so cool to see because he still gets so excited. He'd be like, oh, tomorrow's Sunday? And so, and he'll try to get it out of me. What are we doing?
Get the sneak peek.
Yeah.